Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 free genealogy websites. And my name is Kelly Lee. I am the founder and a professional genealogist at Root Pursuit, here to share my favorite websites with you. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, number one is Find a Grave. Probably one of the most well-known free websites. We love it because you can search by both surname and you can also search by cemetery. So you can find great information on there. A lot of times people add obituaries and photographs of the ancestor that you're looking for. So go ahead and check this one out. Number two is Family Search. If you're not using this site, you're missing a lot. It has so much information on it. They're constantly adding information. It's the same size of Ancestry.com, if not bigger. So much information on here, and it's totally free, unlike Ancestry. So if you're not using this, you really should. There's guides on there if you're new to family search on how to search more efficiently. You know, there's different ways to search. You don't have to just search for surname. There's basically a card catalog. So go ahead and check those out. Number three is Billion Graves. Very similar to Find a Grave, but different people add different things. Some people prefer adding their cemetery gravestone memorials to Billion Graves instead of Find a Grave. So plus they add a lot more information and have lots of different other types of records on Billion Graves than just cemetery grave locations. So go ahead and check that one out. I believe you do need a login in order to get access to the records, but you can search just the you can still search. You just can't get the actual records without a login. All right, number four is my new favorite. hathitrust is a digital database. Includes full text books that have been digitized by libraries. So we love this one for searching pre-1850, those colonial ancestors, or, social history. So if you are searching this, I recommend you search by a surname with a location such as a county or a city, and that will get you what you need there. Lots of books, so go ahead and check it out. All right, next, number five, Google Scholar. Google Scholar is one of those Google family of products that they offer. This one, sometimes you don't get much. I mean, you really need to have, let me put it this way. Okay, so it has journals, it has articles, and it also includes some books, but any sort of historical or professional documents have been published. They're generally on Google Scholar. Now, one of the great things about this, I don't know if you've used your library card to go in and access databases. So with my library card, I log into my library website, and then I get this huge list of databases that I can search for. And there's like EBSCO, different things like that. And they all cover different categories, like one will be for psychology, one will be for science. But what Google Scholar does is it puts all of those databases into one location. Now, you can't necessarily access the articles, but you do get the title, where the article is located, and in which database it's located. So let's just say you find an article on Google Scholar that the index says there's someone by your ancestor's name in one of these articles. So then you can go back to your library website, choose the database, and then search for your ancestor's surname instead of going through the work of searching every single database. So that's a big advantage to Google Scholar. So, it may mean that, if your ancestor isn't in here, there's nothing, significant, like they probably needed to have something published about them or significant in their life. Let me give you an example. I have an ancestor, Joseph Culp. He had a patent. So him and his patent were mentioned in an article. Another example would be, I have the Nugent family from Putnam County, Indiana. I searched Nugent and Putnam County, and I got a few results related to them in the history there. So that was a long explanation of Google Scholar, but it's, you kind of have to have an understanding of what it's for in order to use it for genealogy. So I hope that helped. All right, next. Number 6, US Gen Web. All right, this is a good one. If you want to find out information about a surname, this is a huge collection of pretty much hobbyist genealogists just sharing and collecting information on individual websites. So pretty much every county across the United States has their own website with just local information added to it. Some other, besides, birth, death, and marriage records, the really great stuff is when they have Bible entries, land records, photographs of local homes, and so forth. So you're going to find a little bit more social local history in this in these individual websites. They can be very helpful. Sometimes you find some really great stuff that you would never probably find on some of the bigger database websites. So go ahead and check that one out. Number 7, Ellis Island. Ellis Island is really great for what we kind of refer to as recent immigrants. There's really a small window of time in which Ellis Island was open, 1890 to, I'm not really sure, 1930-ish, I think is when it closed up. Could have been earlier than that. So, but there was a huge influx of immigrants during this time period from Europe. So if your ancestor immigrated during that time period, you are likely going to be able to find the information for that on the Ellis Island website. This used to be managed by, it was all on one site. So you could, if you were visiting Ellis Island, you could also search for the records. They've been separated, so now it's libertyellisislandfoundation.org, and now they actually charge for the records. You can still search the records, and you can see search results for a name and a date and a location or a ship name, but you can't actually get the ship manifest or even an index of it unless you pay for the record. So that's unfortunate. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now. So that's the way she goes. All right, next. Number 8, Google Books. Great option for studying the history, biographical sketchbooks. So during the 1860s to 1890s, that was a really big time for states and counties to publish a list of the most influential people in the area, and it lists very detailed information about their history, where their grandparents came from, and their political views, religious views, and or affiliations, and who their children were and who their children married. So those biographical sketches can be found on Google Books as well as other digitized genealogies. So that is always really helpful. Hope you check this one out. It's structured very similarly to Google Scholar because it's part of the family of Google products. So check it out. Number 9 is Worldcat. Worldcat is a database used generally by librarians or library patrons to search books to find out where books are located. And the great thing about this one is you really use this if you're intending to, go to the library and search for the books. What a great feature of this of Worldcat is that it will tell you the closest library. So you enter in your zip code, and then it tells you the closest library to you for accessing that book. So that's a great tip for organizing your library outings for local and state library records. All right. What else about Worldcat? There are some digitized records, so you can actually find a copy of the book, and it will give you the link, and then you can just access it online without having. But there aren't a lot of those. There's a fair, though. Sometimes you get lucky, and one of your ancestors happens to be in there, so that's really cool when that happens. All right, our last one, number 10, Archives.gov. The U.S. government manages this site for records that they take for, managing the government. So we have a huge collection here available online. They're constantly digitizing and adding new records. You're going to find histories, census, photographs, narratives, personal stories, diaries have been digitized. So it's just great history information on here. And hopefully you can find something on your ancestor. All right, so this has been fun. I hope you get a lot out of these websites. They are very useful. You could almost do your whole genealogy without having to pay a cent. It's great. You really can do genealogy for very low cost if you really need to. All right, so it's been great having you here. Just want to let you know that I do offer professional genealogy services. You can check me out on my website, rootpursuit.com. I do brick wall services, so if you're stuck and you want someone else to see what they can find, send it my way. I have I use basically technology and database and website search algorithm strategies to solve many genealogy problems. I also offer a 30 for 30 service, which is basically, you get 30 minutes of me on the phone. You kind of give me the quick overview of what your brick wall is. And then I go ahead and tell you how I, as a professional genealogist, would attack the problem. So if you're interested in that, head on over to Root Pursuit and send me a message. All right, it's been great. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.